Hello, this is Wylam with the FPV podcast. This week, I want to let you know that the audio for it is terrible. It is just horrendous. The entire Platinum Misfits team wanted to come on, and we just couldn't fit them all onto Skype, so we decided to try Google Hangouts, and it was a failed experiment. So we did our best with the audio that we have, but I'm just warning you, it is quite terrible. But there is a lot of good parts to the actual podcast, so if you stick with it, I'm sure you'll enjoy some of the content. Hello everyone, welcome to this week's FPV podcast. Again, we're going with our little Dover train that we've been doing, and we're going to be talking to the first place team, which is going to be pretty awesome. Yeah. Got some really great guys and gals to talk to this time around. So before we introduce Team Platinum Misfits, Elvin, why don't you say hello?
Hello, everybody. Just wanted to say, get out there and buy that stuff from Heli Direct. You know, that's the number one sponsor, and Pulse Batteries. But love being here. Great people to talk to. Look at them working and getting things ready for the next race. That's what I like right there.
Yeah, you crazy about that first sponsor thing, but look at that. We're going to skip that part. CWB, please introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, I'm CWB, Crazy White Boy, aka Skip. I'm San Diego, California, FPV racer for a year and a half now. I've been in the RC world for pretty much my entire life. Trains, somebody gave me a pair of FPV goggles back in January, and I was hooked. And there's nothing like the adrenaline rush that you get from being inside the goggles and flying.
Pretty cool. Yep, great to have you on. Austin, please introduce yourself.
Austin Gossard, Riverside, California, a.k.a. The Kraken. I've been flying FPV for just a year and a half, and previously raced remote control cars professionally for 10 years for a lot of sponsors, Airtronics, OFNA, Novak, I mean, the list goes on. Got out in 2001, haven't touched an RC anything since. And then picked up goggles similar to Skip. And Buddy was flying some FPV and asked if they raced them. He said, yeah. And I watched them, same thing pretty much everyone else did, the little Star Wars FPV race going through the forest. So that was it. Yeah. So went to a couple races and did good. And picked up my main sponsors, Horizon and Spectrum and E-Flight for batteries. And they know my loyalty, so that's what helped out a lot in this industry. So here to stay and have some fun, just like everyone.
Pretty cool. Good to have you. You know, it's like 10 years in the RC world and jumping over. That's hard, man. But good to have you on board. And, of course, last but not least, Zoe, please introduce yourself.
I am Zoe FPV, and I'm addicted to lithium polymer batteries. You may know me from my crazy flying that I do with 3D. I've been flying for just about 3 years now. I've been flying 3D, coming on 2 years now. It's actually 2 years last month. And I just... I just do stuff. I do X-Class stuff, big drone racing.
Yep.
I do awesome freestyle, team racing. I do all the things. If it has FPV,
you go fast too. You go fast. Don't leave that out.
My original YouTube channel handle was Zoe Full Throttle, so yeah. I like going fast. I want to go fast.
And you know what? Your logo is awesome. I just noticed that.
Thanks.
It's like, that's a really cool looking logo. Who made that? Yeah. I want one.
That's actually made by Blasphemous out of Monterey. He's a really good pilot. If you check him out, he rips, dude. Like he's probably the next best freestyle pilot in the south of the Bay. So if you want to see some really cool footage, check out his YouTube channel. He's amazing. And if you need some artwork or stickers, check him out because his artwork is amazing. So yeah,
it looks really badass. All right,
that looks like something should be on a T-shirt for sure.
Stickers, love stickers. Okay, Zoe, quick intro to your FPV career.
Oh geez. Like, where do
Putting
you
it
really
on
want
the
to?
hours later, here we are.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, so I won the first AMA race in the United States. I went on to fly at U.S. Drone Nationals. I qualified for the second Drone Nationals. I placed 5th in freestyle. I went on to Drone Worlds. I placed 2nd in freestyle at Drone Worlds and the Aloha Cup. I've won several local races, smaller stuff. I won the fastest woman in the world. I like to fly anything that has FPV. I mean, I do 3D. I've probably one of the pioneers of 3D flying, which is flying upside down, but that's just the beginning of it. I liken it to unlocking the 4th dimension when you're flying. So, yeah, I think that about sums it up.
Yeah, basically, she's won a lot of stuff and is really well known. And if anybody doesn't know Zoe, then you've probably been living under a rock somewhere.
Yeah,
but that's a different story. So let's go ahead and get into talking about Team Platinum Misfits. So who all put the team together, and how did it come to be? Who's got that story?
So I guess this is like an interesting story because originally, I guess a few months ago, 2.5 months ago, I think, Justin Haggerty poked me and sent me a message like, "Hey Zoe, can you put a team together for my race?" And I was like, okay, maybe, sure, why not? And so I registered out, and I had this idea. I was like, I'm going to put together an all-female team.
Yeah.
And I invited Angela, Drone Doll, Junebug, and Angela said yes. Junebug had other commitments in China, and then Drone Doll had other commitments. She had a wedding to go to. So unfortunately, like, that plan didn't come together, and the clock was ticking down. Like, I didn't have much time, so I was racing with Skip at Aerial Sports Leagues. Well, I wasn't racing, but Skip was racing. I was just helping out with freestyle and whatnot. And Skip won 2nd in the micro race, and I've hung out with Skip a few times, and I really liked him. He always lifted my spirits. So I thought, you know what? Why not ask Skip to be a 3rd pilot? And I know he's got Platinum Vape. Why not ask him to help, sponsor the team? So I invited Skip in, and he graciously said yes. And then we hunted down for a 3rd member, which I think a few names were brought up, and Austin's was one of them. And brought him up into the conversation, and Angela and I both liked what he did and thought, yeah, Austin would be a great 4th member. And so, like, I think it was about a week or so before the actual race happened, we secured Austin onto the team, which is better than some teams. Some teams didn't even have their 4th member when they showed up. So,
oh yes, they still got 3rd.
They still got 3rd place there.
Woo! So yeah, concrete quads. What?
Hey.
Yeah. So yeah, it was really cool that we got the team secure and whatnot, and with just like a barely making it through, we got the team together for Dover, and like Misfits. I figured, like, I think I brought the term Misfits at one point, and Platinum for Platinum Vape, Platinum Misfits. It's such a really cool name that we all instantly like fell in love with it. So from here on out, we were like the Platinum Misfits, and it was cool.
Everybody vapes.
It fits us well.
So, okay, I got a question for you, CWB. How did you get Platinum Vapes to actually sponsor this? Because as we all know, anybody outside of RC trying to get them sponsored into anything drone racing related is really challenging.
Well, I guess it helps that I started with Platinum Vape since the very beginning, mere existence 5 years ago. And so I'm in really good with the company. I do a lot of hard work for them. And so once they found out about my drone racing and stuff, my bosses are adrenaline junkies, so they instantly were on board with it and just pretty much let me take full reign, go at it.
Cool.
So I wound up, I've sponsored a few big races. I did the Sebring Vape sponsored the pilot pits there. It was, in my opinion, one of the nicest pilot pits at a race. We had helium lighted balloons inside of the pilot pits in the evening. And, I think it was one of the bigger ones, other than the one that we had in Hawaii at the Worlds, which wasn't as nice.
No,
Right.
not as
No, it wasn't nice at all. It was sweat.
Next.
Yeah. And as you guys know, Platinum is a cannabis oil company, and the cannabis oil and FPV kind of go hand in hand. Most of us are smokers. I use it for my PTSD from the Marine Corps, and it helps with my everyday life. So it was natural for me to work in the industry when I first moved here to California.
pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, pretty cool.
Yeah,
So,
and I know I vape and I use cannabis as a way to alleviate some physical pains. So
Right.
it's a great way for me to do that and without use of narcotics and whatnot. So that's kind of what I do. And this day and age, you know, things are changing, times are changing, and I thought it'd be really cool to help bring them on board. And like, I thought it was time for something like this to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, there's a large part of the pilot community that really does indulge, and you know, I think it's the safer of the two things that a lot of people like to do. And
yeah, the cannabis or the oil. Go ahead, Joe.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Skip.
I was saying it is definitely a safer alternative for connoisseurs, because the oil is coconut oil instead of polyethylene glycol. Like most of your vape people out there, you see these giant clouds that they're producing. That all is polyethylene glycol, which is a low-grade vegetable glycerin glycol that's not been tested to be very good for us. So we as a company try to keep everything on the healthy side. So we use coconut oil to mix with THC oil, and that also produces no smell. So you can be very discreet with it and still use your vape pen.
You stoners.
It's really discreet. Like you know, in Delaware, you know, when we were there, you know, you can be out vape pen around everybody and nobody has any idea that, you know, other than it's a vape pen.
Well, I used to do some solar, man, and we had to fill, you know, you fill a solar panel up with glycol, you know, for up here in the north, and you know, there's this distinct taste that I used to get, you know, when I got it on my skin, or in, you know, I could taste it. And I remember when I first looked at vaping, I was like, "What? This has got glycol? Nah, that's all right."
all right.
But I like the whole idea of everybody switching over to vegetable. It seems to be the cure all and helping out with, because everybody thinks it's not as bad as it used to be, right?
Yeah, but the glycol is bad for you no matter what. It's one molecule short of antifreeze. That's why they put it in your solar panel thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And using the coconut oil for us is a little more expensive, but we feel that the return for a better result. So
Right.
That sounds pretty cool, man. Hey, you know what? There we go. We have education on our FPV podcast.
Right.
I just learned a whole bunch of stuff that I did not know. So, Austin, so like when Zoe came up to you, says like, "Hey, we want you to come to this race, and we're gonna drag you all the way to the other side of the coast so that we can run this team race." What was going through your head?
Well, I didn't know the exact specifics. All I had was a phone call. It was actually from Skip at first, but they had already talked about this and wanted to ask me. So when Skip called, he goes, "Hey, I got a race. You want to go to it?" I go, "Sure." And I think I was at home at the time, about this time. And I said, "Sure, where's that?" He goes, "Dover, Delaware." I go, "Okay. When the dates?"
Did you even know where Delaware was?
Yeah. I go, "When the dates? When are we going?" "Next week." I'm like, "What?" "Okay." He goes, and then he said something. He goes, well, what about work and all that? I go, don't worry about that. I get there at 5 a.m. in the morning. I don't start till 7, so that's not going to be an issue. So yeah, so that was it. And then Zoe and I talked that night, and then little A, and yeah, it was pretty much just, hey, let's go race. And I was like, let's do it. So
you're very interesting.
Yeah.
It's not like you with somebody that you don't, that doesn't have some kind of presence and know that where she going is somewhere else. You know what I mean? It's not like
yeah. But it was just, it was less than a week. Honestly. Right. And my
it was total short notice. I mean, that was one of the issues we had.
Yeah, I didn't ask any questions. I found out everything else when I got there. I was like, hey, did you guys invite other people? Oh, yeah. He said, no, they're girlfriends and blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Good for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would have been like, wait a minute, Dover, Delaware. I got to look that up before I agree to anything else.
Oh,
well, that was the thing. That was my mistake. I never looked it up on the map when I said to Justin, yeah, sure, I'll put a team together. And yeah, I think we were one of the teams that traveled the furthest, with Angela being from Mexico and most of us being from the West Coast. I mean, a lot of the teams that showed up were on the East Coast. Sans, I think, some of the race light crew.
Yeah, when I found out, I was like, wow, Zoe traveled literally across the entire country with a team. I was pretty impressed when I saw that.
Damn right.
Yeah, no, that was a large part and due to Skip. Like, he came through for a lot of stuff, and he deserves a big part of the thanks for what happened.
Where's that 3D printer at?
Hey, now, we won't talk about that type of stuff.
It's printing.
Making us coins.
It's over there. Coins. Nice, my brother. Nice.
I'm ready to sell this damn thing.
Damn.
Hey, first place, man. It's a worthy trophy to keep around for a little while. I don't know. Take a picture, I guess. But you know what? I'm glad you didn't look too hard at the place and decided to come, because it was obviously, or hopefully it was worth it. You did get first place. So let me ask the team. I can start with you, Zoe. It's like, once you agreed to it, even though you didn't know exactly what was going on, I mean, what were your thoughts about this Pro Series race? It was a team race. It's going to be at a NASCAR venue. I mean, what are your initial thoughts?
Well, one, can I trust Justin Haggerty to pull off an event? Because, he's had issues in the past, and with DSA and them splitting off and DSA kicking the, dying, him kind of coming back and trying to host a legit race and her legit series again is, kind of a big deal. So it was a leap of faith. I was like, this was a giant leap of faith to get a team together and do something like this. But at the same time, I was like, well, I haven't had too many other great opportunities, and it sounds like fun to put a team together and do something with people that I enjoy being with. So I was like, heck yeah, let's do this. And slowly but surely it started coming together.
I kind of agree with you. I think there's a lot of teams that was apprehensive, except for the Maryland teams. They didn't have to travel, so for them it was actually easy.
Yeah, and they had 2 teams there.
Oh, 3 teams. No, there was 3 teams close to there. And
oh, really?
Yeah. So Austin, after the brainwashing came out and you already agreed, and they had your contract written in blood, and you find out you're in a team race at a NASCAR track, what'd you think?
Oh, it was cool as hell. I mean, never been to the Dover Mile. Always wanted to go. I'm not a huge NASCAR fan, but if I'm there, I'm into it. So being racing, all my life and stuff, and then walking in there, and we're in between Monster and Infinity. You couldn't ask for a better venue. And talking about Justin, I mean, for him to pull this off and make this happen, and in a short time, especially with what was going on and everything, and DSA in the past and everything else. I have to say he brings a lot of credit back to his name and the IDRA. I don't think a lot of people give him enough justice and
Like, the guy's not trying to do a cash grab. Like, he's seriously trying to push the sport forward. He's trying to do good for the community.
Yeah.
You know, like, he's one of the few, he's not one of the few, but he's one of the good guys, in my opinion. And, you know, there's not enough of those guys out there. And I really hope that he gets more support going forward with what he's doing.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's how me and Elvin got involved. We found out it was at the Dover Mile, and I just sent him a message saying, "Hey, do you need help?" And then I got wrangled into a lot other things. That's many other big and heavy duty work things. But that's besides the point. We're not here to talk about us. CWB, as the person who had to foot most of the bill for this, which we thankfully you did, and congrats on the first.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, for your sponsors. What were your initial thoughts going into this?
Sorry, I'm calibrating.
Got a race tonight, so.
Got a race tonight, baby. Got a race tonight.
Yeah.
I think he can.
We might like to vape, but goddamn, we like to get stuff done. So
Hey, Skip, we came back with a whole new drive. It seems like, man.
Yeah. Well, as far as paying for everything, that has never really. It's not an issue with me. I've seen a potential in our group that we could go out there, represent Southern California or California, I should say, as though there's in Northern California, and Mexico.
I just said the West Coast.
I know, West Coast. I know. See, I'm sorry. I'm an East Coast guy. I always forget that West Coast thing. If I could do it with my fingers, but I seen the potential, and I knew that it was definitely possible that we could go out and pull it off. Plus, for me, it was because I'm a NASCAR fan. I grew up NASCAR in the country of North Carolina. That's all we had to do for fun. So, coming from that big background, I thought
it was
NASCAR, bitch.
Did you realize that was going to be going on during like an actual NASCAR event, or did you just think it was going to take place at the NASCAR arena originally?
Well, I didn't really, at first I didn't know that it was going to be going on during the NASCAR event. At the same time, I thought, and then once I read into it a little more, I realized, oh yeah, that's a perfect match. That, you know, with the fan zone and having the drone racing, it could, you know, coexist really well together. Especially knowing how many fans come through the NASCAR thing up front. So it was an easy decision for me. I mean, I always know that the monetary part of travel is the hardest part, you know, getting the funds to travel. And that's why I told him beforehand, don't worry about all that stuff. Enjoy, have a good time, don't stress about nothing. And then, you know, we don't have to worry about racing and flying. So that came together pretty well. I always have a meltdown or two. Call me crazy white boy for nothing.
Yep, there was a level 5 to his name.
There's a meltdown, yes.
On top of that, though, you're also the guy that puts out the fire when shit does happen. So,
yeah, I calm down real quick. So,
actually, you were also the fan favorite too. Did you ever notice when you were up there and you were just running around? The fans always they track you with their eyes with that big yellow hard hat. You were the only person with that hard hat. I was like, what in the world is he doing?
Somebody asked me, what's that guy with the yellow hat?
You know, all of
He's smart.
Yeah, it's all about the show too. I mean, we're all entertainers at the end of the day. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this. Yeah.
No, it was a lot of fun having you out there, and your team definitely spruced up the crowd every once in a while. And it was actually your team also competed really hard. Zoe actually probably had the most famous crash, down over in the hurdles.
Oh my god, that was so much fun.
We got a lot of ahs out of that one.
Yeah, dude, everyone was so drawn in on that race, and I was catching that guy through every turn. I was catching him through the last lap. And I was about 10 feet and maybe less away from him.
Oh, dude,
and he was going through that gap. Dude, he was going through, what was that thing? I think I was right on his butt. I was going through that gap. He takes the under. I'm gaining speed. And I have nowhere to go. I go up into the pole. And, mad. That was a great race. That was a great race.
You also had the only quad that literally stood out because everybody else's quad was either black or white, and then she had this huge yellow quad that nobody else had, and it's like, oh yeah, that's gonna stand out. I know where Zoe's at anywhere on the track.
That was my Raggy WBX frame, Santa Cruz edition actually, and Santa Cruz yellow red. So they actually printed or made me out that frame custom a while ago, and I chose it for that race because like 5-inch is a bit big, but that machine's running 2300 kV motors, so it's a little bit more tame, and it's also really durable. After I hit that pole, all I did was bend back the frame and swap out the camera, and it was good to go again.
That's pretty cool.
Nice.
So, since you're already talking, Zoe, what do you think of the racing and also the racing format? Can you go into like what you thought first was, and as you progress through the days?
Well, my first thought was, this is some bullshit. To be quite honest.
Okay, now comes the real dude right here. This is what
I mean, because like on the first one, like I wasn't really aware of the format going into it. I went into it kind of blindly, and during the first race, I was it the first or second one? I'm trying to remember what happened. So I had both of my qualifying rounds. I had horrible issues. So yeah, I know what happened the first time. So I was going around the lap. TX died mid-air, and it died mid-air because around like the first corner. And it happened because I was sitting on the line for like 11 minutes. They weren't getting it going fast enough. And granted, this was like the first heat or second heat. So it was just beginning. The second heat. It was the very beginning of the competition. So, you know, that's always a really rough start where things are really slow before they pick up some speed and momentum and get in the groove of things.
Right.
So unfortunately, though, I was sitting on line for 11 minutes. That realized, oh, we only have one qualifying round? What the fuck? I went to Justin and be like, dude, I had tech issues through there. I can prove I had tech issues. You didn't follow your own rules, blah, 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 blah. I guess a lot of people had problems because they ran a second qualifying round the next day.
True enough.
I had a great run, except I guess my video blacked out for all of 2.5 seconds when I landed. And I think what happened is I hit so hard my battery like ejected or something happened, and anyway, like I didn't know at the time, like in the heat of the moment, I didn't know what was going on, so I didn't even notice the blackout. So I kept racing, and it wasn't until after the race that someone said I had a blackout, which is an automatic DQ in this format. So I was like, oh, god damn it. I was so like, god damn it. But that being said, I've used the rules. At that point in time, like, Justin, you're going to have to start following the rules now, okay? If you're going to write out these rules, you better start following them. And he did.
Right.
He did throw down the hammer. He was DQing people for not being ready. He was, you know, making sure that, like, during the finals, especially video problems being caused by a single pilot over multiple people, he made sure that, you know, things were handled correctly. And, you know, he definitely got his groove through the entire event. Yeah. He stepped up as a race director of sorts along with Nate, and he handled it well, I think. You know, he didn't succumb to me. When I was angry at him and I was like, God damn, this is not right, he didn't budge. That was the thing, like, he didn't budge. So I got used to, you know, standing by his gut and his guns and the rules that he wrote. So
hey, that was actually really important, crucial too, because you weren't the only one yelling. Let's just say that, right? And there was a lot of people.
Oh, I was far from the only one.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that wanted, you know, rules changes, or this doesn't make sense because they didn't know the format of the race. But I think he really took charge away from Nate, let him just run the races, and that really helped out. I think you're right. I think at the end of the day, like, him taking charge and sticking to his guns really made the race really great.
Yeah, and that's I think what's really needed at the end of the day with the race is that you have to have like a race. It has to be a race first, and everything else second.
Right.
You know, with a lot of these like bigger leagues, they're putting production first, and you know they're still getting the racing end. Especially now, they're getting the racing end a lot better tuned in. But when it first started, you know, like it's always race second. And with IDRA, they're really race centric. They want to hold a good event. They want to hold a good race. They realize they have to do that to get pilots on their side to want to go to their events.
Right.
Participate in their league.
Definitely.
And so I really like Justin's focus and what he's doing. And after talking to him at length after the race, I'm kind of excited. After I cooled down, and after we had our words, it was good.
Oh, just a few words.
Yeah,
small kind.
Zoe was also really good on the stage too. She came up and joined us, and we talked shop up there, and gave the audience some tips on lines and also flying for the day. It was really great having you up there. You know, you're well spoken, and people enjoy.
Do you know what the fastest time was for the race?
I think
like it was fastest lap.
I think it was Wilkie at like a 9.8, I believe.
Yeah,
9.8.
Damn, so I was a second off. Okay.
Yeah, you were close. But
I predicted an 8.6.
That didn't happen.
That was really close, though. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be that fast, but wow, it was still.
Wow, yeah, 9-second lap.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's a pretty fast lap.
It was a tight course, you know.
Yeah, and it was at the end of the day, we also saw that the crashing really did take its toll on parts.
Yeah.
That's why I was flying the Raggy frame, dude. That thing is the most durable thing I have in my kit, and that was the only machine I raced through the entire event. Yeah, I gotta give some kudos to the Raggy frame. I mean, it's HDPE plastic. It's not carbon fiber.
Right.
When people see it, it looks like a toy, but it's just as light as other frames. It's just a little bit more bulky, and it's way more durable.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
What the hell is Austin doing over there with all his manuals out?
Programming in a PCR.
You don't want to know.
He got a manual out. I recognize a manual. I know exactly where it can be.
Well, I'm too lazy to go online right now and download it. So
he's trying to figure out how to use his VTX. That's what he's
doing. No. The Spectrum F400 boards, and I use them, but I've got a new build.
I was going to make a Spectrum joke, but then I decided not to because I actually kind of like their gear lately.
Awesome. Look, I got them white motors too.
Oh, yeah, dude. Nice time 50. I'm telling you. Do you want to talk about power?
Yes.
Emacs? So,
crazy.
JD and Brandon have always helped me out with Emacs and get me products. So, I mean, the motors and the speed controls for Emacs, hands down, durability, number one. And then, so anyway, I got the manual because I don't remember what the motor synchronization is. So I got to look at it.
You can change it.
All right. So did CWB drop off? I don't see him, so maybe I can't answer that question. So, and somebody else joined. I just don't know who it is because it's just a blue icon. So
I think it's Austin. It's a ghost.
It's a ghost? Okay. It's another
Why is that
ghost of Austin. I don't know.
Here, I might lose you. Let me see. Oh, that is a ghost. Wow. Check that out. I'm going to hang up.
Huh? You just hung up. All right, so.
We can get back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't a good ghost.
That wasn't a good ghost. That's fine. Austin, what'd you think of the racing and what'd you think of the format?
The racing was good. The format was good. We had some hiccups, but we worked through them. Being at the major events, the one big thing with me is sponsored pilots like to cry a lot.
You are a sponsored pilot. You know that,
right? Anyone will tell you I don't cry.
Oh my god.
That kind of tip the iceberg with a couple people there at that weekend that I saw, and I was there and I saw everything happen in front of me. So I don't usually speak out. I'm very quiet. But if I'm traveling halfway across, well, actually all the way across the country from West Coast to East Coast, and I got someone trying to pull some snake oil out. You know, I don't say what I need to say in front of everyone. So I pulled Justin aside and the other person who was crying, and I told him flat out. I said, "Listen, what's your issue? What's your concern? Blah 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 blah. My video, blah blah blah." I was like, "I'm gonna tell you right now. Your video was great, and you full throttled it right into the net. I go, you want to call bullshit? I'm gonna call bullshit right now. I don't want to hear you crying anymore." And that was it. And that was someone's big up in.
Yeah, you want to talk about like fucking false starts and stuff. Like Austin is a fucking badass motherfucker, okay? Like he, on the final run, at the very last run of the day, I tell Austin, because I know the points, you have to come in third or better for us to win. And all you have to do basically is just get across the line and let somebody, you know, crash out. Because someone always crashes out. It's like a guarantee. And at the start, he's like, I've got a bad video. You know, I'm standing behind him. I'm hearing it. He's like, I got bad video. He gets, like, as they go 3, 2, 1, he's like, I got bad video. And they say, go. And off they go. All 3 pilots are up in the air. And Austin's like, I've got bad video. He gets up out of the pilot seat. He walks over to Justin. He tears off his goggles. He throws them in Justin's face. And he's like, don't tell me that's not bad video. Justin looks at it for a couple seconds. He's like, yeah, that's bad video, but you're going to have to fight anyways. Austin, without missing a beat, he grabs his goggles back. He marches up onto the pilot stage. He sits his butt back down in that chair. He throws his goggles on. He ends up going faster than any other pilot that way. Okay? He was catching up from his missed time. And if he had a few more laps, he would have actually probably passed somebody if he had a few more, like if he had another minute. So, like, it was impressive what he had to put up with as a pilot, especially in the finals, and what he did to come through for the team. So, and it's a really cool story. You know, it's a really, really cool story.
Thanks, Zoe.
Austin used the force, guys. That's what.
Well, you know, the biggest thing was, you know, I could pull a sub 10-second lap. I know I pulled a 10.2, and I wasn't even hauling ass. And if you're gonna haul butt and make a show, you're going to crash. You know, you can't consistently do sub 10-second laps and be consistent. I mean, yeah, you probably can 1 out of 20 times, but in this, what we were dealing with and the format, consistency. So I just had to stay up. So I knew I had to get third.
Now, whoa, hold on. A little bit loud.
He's scared himself.
A little bit loud. Now, Shush you. Hey, so Austin, like, you've been into big events. I think one of the things that really marks, you know, a great pilot from an average pro pilot is the fact that you have to deal with bad video issues. Talk to me a little bit about that. It's like when you had to actually deal with that bad video, and everybody does, right? It's whether or not you can actually get through that with bad video that proves that you're a professional. Like, what was going through your head when you actually had to do that? Because obviously, Zoe said you put them back on and you handled your business.
You got to fly through it, man. I mean, I don't complain. Anyone in this industry that knows me knows I will not complain about bad video. But when it's that horrible, oh my gosh. It's like, dude, I mean, I can't see. And, you know, when he said what he said, I knew it was crunch time. So I had to you know.
He bowled up.
Yeah, bottle up, tighten up the reins, and fly through it. And I flew through it. And, you know.
Amazingly well.
And one thing I will say is, you know, you hear about bad video.
Well, also, the other thing I want to note is that what happened, too, is that one of the pilots crashed out, and the pilot that crashed out was the one causing your bad video.
Yeah.
Okay? Because as soon as he crashed out, it cleared up for you. It cleared up for me in the DVR.
Oh, yeah. No, it did. But here's one point I'll state on analog on bad video. You know, you get all these bad video. Yeah, we all have bad video. But you know what? I went to Connex Pro Site for HD for 6 months straight. I put the analog away. I flew it. And I just couldn't grasp. The video was great. I couldn't grasp. There was latency. I was always 70% confident in my flying, and I couldn't go anymore. I spent 6 straight months on that. And when you have bad video on that, guess what? You don't get squiggly lines. You don't get little blips of OSD and stuff. You get pixelation and you're done.
Click.
So when people say about bad video, my new thing was, and I said this to someone very high up in race flight, and he wasn't very happy. He was complaining about bad video.
Feels like Maddo.
I got bad video, and this was one of the other arguments. I walked up to him and I said, listen, you don't have HD, you don't have ProSight. I don't want to hear about your bad video. Fly through the shit.
Right.
And I was like, dude, this is nothing. I go, you can have a squiggly lines everywhere, black and white TV, the fuzz, everything. I'm going to fly through it. So anyways, about the video, it happens. It happens. Every pilot has their different perspective on what's bad if they just get a blip. No, right. Dude. You need total chaos where you can't see anything.
Total
chaos. You gotta just fly through it.
I like that.
I can make a joke about Spectrum right now, but I don't want to.
Oh.
Austin, well, no, like everything.
Don't start no trouble.
Zoe, I think you're outnumbered. CWV, do you fly Spectrum? Because I think you outnumber Zoe if you do.
Well, by the way, I do actually fly Spectrum too.
Yes,
like I do fly both.
Okay.
So
she's just gonna start some noise.
Oh yeah.
Well, no, there's the thing, and this is something actually.
Yes, we got a Spectrum VTX in their rig, so they can fly all weekend.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so the things that I was actually kind of getting at is that Spectrum, at least lately, has had a lot of really good product come out, and their latest updates, the controllers, transmitters have been really good. Because there was a point in time where I had to switch out from Spectrum because every time I tried breaking line of sight, I would have a fail-safe, and I'd end up breaking a lot of stuff. Since I've been dabbling back into it, that has changed. So, it's one of those things. That's why I say I almost want to make a joke, but those jokes are old-founded.
Yeah, see, people always, they see me with my Spectrum, and I've been a Spectrum, guy for a while now. I started off with JR, and it's like, yeah, I know, there's been issues, but just like any company, like they're gonna make improvements, and it's all about who improves as they move through the market, and if they don't improve, then the product gets stagnant and it just sits there.
Well, but Elvin, here, let me point this out. You have a quad, a person flying a quad,
right?
You have a brownout, a fail-safe, whatever you want to call it. Well, brownout, I'll give you a brownout. They got so but here's the thing: what receiver is in that quad? It's a racing receiver. People don't understand. I mean, yeah, you're gonna go far, but it's a racing receiver. It's for racing. How big do you think the tracks are? You're trying to go, a mile out. I've gone a mile out. I've gone 2 miles out from my house right back here on a quad racing receiver. But, if you want to go long, then go get some long range stuff. People understand.
Well, I like my Spectrum stuff. It works really well. I got both long range and Spectrum, and that's anything in a mile and a half. If I need to go further than that, I need to have the security to go further. So I that's the way I feel. If you know you're going to go out past a mile, then you shouldn't be playing around with stuff that's intermittent in that area. You know what I mean? You should be, broadcasting further out than you plan on going. That's a safety factor. You know what I mean? The last thing you don't want is to lose control of a quad. 500 feet up. 2 miles out, and it's gonna. By the time your system even get close to recovering, it's gonna be on the ground.
Yeah,
and there's no way. So, like, if you're gonna fly 2 miles out, then you probably should be running, Crossfire or Dragon Link or something to get you out a little further and give you confidence, because you should have confidence when you fly in a quad or any ship out at FPV range. You shouldn't be guessing.
And you shouldn't be flying a 190 millimeter quad trying to go a mile and a half out.
Right.
It's for racing. It's for having fun.
Definitely. Definitely. So we can
Wait, you mean I can't fly my tiny loop out to a mile? What are you talking about?
Only if you're using nitro. But we can safely say Spectrum 1, Zoe 0 on this episode. So, Zoe.
Hey, I can see this. Like, I entered this with, like, my tail between my legs and bending over. No, I'm totally considered Spectrum. Like, have you all tried the Spectrum Torrent?
Here, Zoe, you can have this banner.
Oh, I totally put that up. I got a spot for it right on my wall. But yeah, so seriously, like it's so cool.
The torrent?
It's awesome.
You got a torrent?
No, I got to fly one. Like, dude, like that thing. I've flown the Baby Hawk. I've flown the Torrent. I've flown a few brushless micros, and so far that's my favorite one out of the bunch.
Nice.
Especially when you take
Dover with his Torrent.
Who?
Austin terrorized.
Oh yeah. Austin got one. Yeah, Austin got one. Yeah, I know he got one.
When we were in Dover, at our Airbnb, of course we're pilots, so we're gonna fly no matter where we are. So we flew in our neighborhood where we were staying. Guys up around the street or whatever comes flying in with his Phantom and like wants to come peekaboo on us and comes and brings it right over top of us. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna fuck with him. So Austin's like, give me a battery, give me a chip. So he goes up and we start following this guy around. I follow him with the 5-inch and buzz him a few times. Then Austin goes up and flies the Torrent into his camera and kisses him right in the mouth. And he takes off.
Oh my god!
Bad out of hell. Scared the shit out of him.
Yeah, we were like probably a couple hundred feet up. He was probably
got that footage. Anybody out there got that footage? Send it in. We want to see it.
Yeah, I got it. I got it on my computer. I got to find it somewhere. But yeah, it was.
I want to see the other side of it. I want to see the guy that you were terrorizing.
I'm talking about. Hopefully, we know the guy that we can find the person that was on the other side.
Oh yeah,
the Phantom guy.
Yeah, that would
be hilarious to see his point of view.
He was definitely recording.
Yeah, I think I did probably two laps around him, and then finally I found his camera, and then just went.
Give him a nudge. Give him a racing nudge.
It was awesome.
Oh my god!
Scared the bejesus out of him. He didn't know because he started. We could see him like turning around in a circle, trying to see what that was.
It's a big bat. You just tell him.
One of the things we can all say about you guys as a team, it was hilarious. You know, you guys kept us laughing, kept things. When you guys was lighthearted, it was the best times of being at Dover. I can tell you that. You know, when we know that we were stressed out, and there was other things that we had to deal with that was going on and stuff, and you know, we're helping out and trying to help the race be the race that it could be. But when we saw you guys laughing and joking, that made being there the special part. You know, thanks, guys.
Cool. Thanks, fella.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's what it's all about, too.
It is.
Dude, I danced more at that event than I've ever danced in my life.
I think all of your team at one point was just having fun. It was like, you know, poking cameras, running around, causing lipo fires, you know.
Right, causing lipo fires.
Air horns.
Air horns.
Yeah, the air horns. Jesus Christ.
I always kind of wanted to make sure, like, when we were getting into it, like, we all signed roles, whatnot, you know, like, Skip was primary pit. Austin was primary mechanic? Mechanic-ish? And then, like, Angela was navigator. And then I switched out for, like, team captain / navigator / pit communicator, someone that would communicate with the pit.
Everybody did their part.
Yeah, and it was great because, like, you know, when we'd walk out to drop down a quad, there was at least 2 of the team members if not 3 of us with each other, dropping the quad down, walking with each other. We did it as a team, and that was such a cool thing. Out of every event that I've been a part of, I've never felt like I was a part of a team as much as I have at that event. Really changed my perspective on how racing could be.
Cool.
And from the team aspect, you know what? I think we all had them surprised by from their 30 to 48 second pit stops.
Yeah. We were. Hey, once you guys got the pitting down, man, it was all pretty much y'all. Y'all had it going on. There was a couple of people that followed you guys, but not well enough. What did you say?
I think there was one other team that had a faster time. I think.
Expert Drones was
with what?
I think.
Yeah.
Like Expert Drones, like they were killing it in the pits too.
We only beat those guys by 1 point. Oh yeah, they were killing it.
Dude, during qualifying, or actually even in eliminations, they were really racking up the points, but really the equipment let them down towards the end.
Right.
That was the big thing for them.
Yeah, we got lucky on the one VTX thing with that one guy that went up first, and he had to scratch.
Yeah, dinosaur.
Yeah, there was definitely.
I don't know if that was luck, dude. Like I don't want to like start anything, so I don't think it's worth starting. But like I felt like
I know what you're saying.
Pilot was doing that in previous runs, and we definitely called it out in the final run because we had DVR footage of it from previous runs. So when the finals came around, we're like, he had a hot VTX. That's definitely one way to put it. And when it counts, that's when it matters. And he powered out of the race, and every other pilot had clear video going out. When pilots had proper VTXs and had their gear working properly, video was fine. It was only an issue when somebody was running a piece of shit VTX or had their antenna connection not on correctly. Then they're bleeding over on the channels was the problem.
They were on the wrong channels the whole time,
Yeah. Well, people.
Because I've been through that personally when I first started in this sport. Like, I didn't know that shit made in China is crappy and that they don't know what AB's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and shit could be backwards too because it could go 8, 5, 4, 3, So, it was a huge learning curve for me. And believe me, I've many a nights, I'm done with this sport. I've had it. And then somebody will be like, dude, it could be backwards, Chinese shit, So it is a big learning curve. And now that, I'm more of a, I'm not a pro yet, but I'm getting there. And I'm using better quality stuff now. TBS, the Tramp is reliable. That we know is when says it's on the channel, it's on that channel. So
yeah, I still have yet to have a TBS Unify Pro fail on me.
I know of 3. I know of
really?
3.
Damn, that's unlucky.
None experienced by me though. I can tell you that.
I've been running them in 5 quads and for over almost a year now, and I have yet to have any problems with any of them. And it's maybe I'm just blessed. Maybe that's the one part that I don't have problems with.
Well, I've been lucky too. I'm very grateful for the luck that I've been running lately with VTXs. I have not had a Unify go bad. I've had everything else fail, except for I have to say Lock On. That VTX, the one I got from them, that thing still works, and it works flawless. And then the Unify, I got the race, the HV and the race both, and I've had most of them since Worlds. I think I bought 2 more since Worlds, but they all work, and I haven't had any issues And I literally ran.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Like having good VTX and good video equipment makes such a big difference when you're in FPV.
All the difference in what we do. Like it makes because you can't see, you can't fly. So
right. Yeah. And I run my Unified twice. Like took off, was flying around. Like what happened to my video? Came back, landed, and like, oh jeez. I didn't put the antenna on the crab.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They're really resilient when you screw up like that. Like, I forgot to put the antenna on a couple of Unifies, fly around almost an entire battery. Like, this is bad video, but still fly through it, land, and be like, oh, wow, that's really hot. And the thing still works. Like, it's an amazing product.
It is an amazing
product. That's a great thing
well.
For the future, Go ahead.
All right, let's get back on subject before you guys. But yes, VTXs are important because it's one of the only parts that affects everybody else around you, and nobody wants your crappy video. That's just the truth of it. So, hey, CWB, we're gonna get your opinion before we move on. What do you think of the racing and the pitting?
Because I've been to almost every major event they've had in the past year and a half. I thought it went really smooth. I thought the guys in the production tent kept everything moving real smooth. I felt like there wasn't a whole lot of downtime unless it was just, weird computer stuff. I think I would have liked to have seen the barrels make it for the little slalom thing.
Yeah.
I felt like those open straightaways were, I'm not saying to take away from anything, but we're all good enough that, we can fly around anything. So, that was a little disappointing, but overall, I think it was an awesome event. I think Justin did a good job. You guys did an amazing job. I really enjoyed having you guys up above us and behind us, so to speak, because we could hear you guys pretty clearly. So a lot of times, if you guys said something that wasn't quite correct, and I would give you guys the stink eye a few times. I know, but I think things were just not relayed properly, and it was all good. But I did like that aspect of it, having you guys up there talking about everything, and you guys had the bird eye view of everything over the crowd and us, and yeah, that was pretty nice. I liked the personal pit tents for each team. That was kind of cool. It was like a little village in there for each one of us. So yeah, for the most part, the whole experience was awesome. I had more of those, like one a month, that we were all going to back here in the States, and we aren't looking at going to for the next one. So, because I don't know personally, but a hell of a long way from North Carolina, if you ask me.
True enough. Hey, so now, when you guys knew that you made it into the finals, did you change any of your strategies? Because at this point, you know that you're going to be one of the top 4 teams.
I think they had to tell me a few times that we actually made it in, because didn't we come into 5th or something? We were
we were 5th in the beginning.
Yeah, you guys was 5th.
Yeah, dude, going into it, we were underdogs, right? We crawled up from behind from eliminations and the qualifying, and then from qualifying to semifinals.
Actually,
they had to relay times. That was actually true. So, that was. And I actually felt pretty good. I was like, wow, 5th coming in, because we had some struggles, definitely getting qualified into that whole deal for sure. I had a big issue with the daggum Velcro and, just all the other stuff that goes on, in FPV.
I'm sorry, the Velcro skip?
I could see another piece of Velcro. Because the whole thing is like, I don't know if anybody's seen me struggle, but when we put that stuff on Angela's quad and Angela flew and came in, I couldn't get those two pieces of Velcro apart.
Which is partially my fault because the night before I'm like, hey guys, the Velcro we have isn't strong enough. You have to go find stronger Velcro. And so they went out and they like combined two of these Velcros together, and it was just like dual lock plus regular Velcro.
Right.
It was not coming off for nothing, dude.
Regular Velcro, no.
It wouldn't
Like that shit ain't coming apart. Yeah.
So after that, I was so frustrated because I was like, man, because you're out there and you're nervous and you're trying to get this shit and you're trying to rip it to your mouth, and yeah, so it wasn't very good for me. I will say I probably blazed my whole tent up after that to calm down.
I was laughing my ass off.
And it's all part of the process too. I told everybody around this, hey, it's all for show, just to make everybody think that we're all fucking out of our minds. And
well, it's also like it goes to the Happy Gilmore thing even more. Like, the night before the finals, I'm watching Happy Gilmore by happenstance on the TV, and it's like, we got to find our happy place as a team. God damn it, we have to calm our shit down. We got this.
It starts with Isa.
And
I think we harassed Justin and and the other one that was running things that night after qualifying, because if we were going to get a whole nother qualifying round, we were so like unclear on everything. And
yeah, that day, so going into the second day, for example, I was walking to the bathroom. I see Nate as I'm walking out of the bathroom. He's walking to the bathroom. He's like, hey Zoe, how's it going? I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. You haven't said anything bad today yet, so
Okay, happy place.
I don't know if there's like good news or bad news, So at that point in time, everything's good. But yeah.
Yeah, so for the most part, I mean, I think for me, the only complaint I had, and I expressed this to Justin, was I felt like they shammed him with those RV trailers. Like they put that right in the line of view for the spectators that were walking by. Because, I came through that because you had to go over to the portal over back that way. And when you would walk back, that whole experience that you're looking for, the IDRA and the square and the netting, was all blocked by these travel trailers.
Right.
That nobody gave a shit about. So, I wish those would have been kind of pushed back a little bit. So, we could have drawn a little more people in. But, that was
just talking about like changing it completely for next year. So we have more like open space for the public to come in and enjoy it. And potentially having the pilots camping at the event. So you won't even have to like spring for a hotel. And also having the pilots camp at the event, I think, would help bring more community inclusiveness into it, and people would enjoy it more.
Yeah.
Yeah. They see us flying in our campground stuff and get involved. Yeah, definitely. People are always more inclined to be inclusive when they have knowledge about what's going on. A lot of people will just walk by and be like, yeah, whatever. But the people that actually you tell something about and you gain their interest and stuff, and it's how everything
like there should be
goes.
goggles just hanging off of the
like 5-10 cents.
I'm definitely going to get us some TV screens next year when we do it. If I got to put one around my neck and these little thing,
yeah, with a giant thing at the bottom.
Yeah.
He's going to be having pictures of monitor on his back so people can watch the FPV view while he's manning the pits.
Right.
Yes.
That'd be bad, dude.
Hey, you know what? There's actually been a lot of good suggestions that has been thrown around, and I hope that Justin has the funding to implement some of them, because it would be nice. And I still think that like every team and everybody there did an excellent job, because there were a few times we saw, 3-4 rows deep of people just standing there at least watching, a full qualifying round or at least 4 or 5 heats. It was great. I love the crowd. Elvin got them to wave a few times. We got that on camera. It was great. It was a lot of fun. So I'm glad there was some entertainment out there, and guys that were really open to kind of just talking to the crowd. So it was a nice time.
Fans, Bill and Tom were out there the whole time. All 3 days they came.
There was a couple of people that came almost every day.
It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. All right, so when you got into the finals and you were racing, Austin, did your game plan change, or were you just plodding along, just go with it?
No, same thing. I asked Zoe, or Zoe told me, hey, you need to get third, nothing less than third. I was like, okay, cool. It was just nothing changed.
That was the other thing, is that and as Justin said, I was the only person at the event that was keeping track of the scoring going into semifinals and finals and relaying that information back to my team so we could strategically plan how we're going to fly going forward. Like, we were doing a lot of stuff on the back end to try to strategically plan out how we're going to take on the event. Like, we knew going into it, if we place like 5th going into the finals, hey, that puts us in better heats.
Right.
Slower pilots and allows us to get more points possibly going forward. So dropping a knee, so to speak, and going lower and going into semifinals actually may have helped us. And I think it actually helped us.
There's that strategy right there, baby.
Well, the biggest strategy, I think, was being consistent. Like we talked about Friday night after practice. We all talked about it when we got back to the house and actually on the way to the house. And then the other thing was pit stops. I mean, that was going to make us. And we all decided that was going to make us. So we had to do and stick with that. So perceive and to go through that and, the finals and show as a team what we did. I mean, I think we turned a lot of heads. I think a lot of people were surprised. And
we was.
Yeah.
So funny thing was that
we weren't, though.
when qualifying was done, I went up to the production crew and I had to do a short skit on picking an underdog. And I saw your team at 5th spot, and I just said, you know what, they would be a good candidate, plus they're good in front of the camera. And I sent the camera crew your way, so I hope you guys did a good job because you won it all. So it was actually very fortunate that I just said 5th place, Platinum Misfits. That's a good underdog. Go interview them.
Wow, nice. Did not know.
That was actually a good interview too that we did. I can't wait to see that video.
I have no idea how they're gonna cut that together, dude. That's like that was the funniest interview I have ever been a part of. Oh my god.
That's true.
So I don't even know if it's kosher to talk about it.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
That's like the after show where you get to talk about like the real shit.
Okay.
Real shit right there.
I hope they can all fit it in because everything has to fit into 15 minutes. So we'll see. But that's pretty cool, and congrats on the win again. It was great seeing you guys compete all the way to the end. I think it was a surprise for even us on the stage because like Expert Drones going in, they were so dominant.
Yeah, they were.
Quads, they ended up being the true Cinderella story, which congrats to them. And then you guys, you just you stayed consistent, you pulled it out, and you did what you had to win. And big congrats to you guys.
Thanks. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, so
yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was about being consistent. That was part of our strategy. I think we all talked about that. Is that we just needed to stay consistent, no hot dogging, no crazy stuff. Just finish our laps. Don't worry about the time. The points will fall where they may.
I think Zoe got getting the fly that day there where she was doing some 3Ds. I think that took a little edge off of her too.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
you got a chance to goof off a little bit and zone in, and then you crash and you realize, oh shit, yeah, I could messed my shit up real good.
Yeah, no, I was like after one crash, and then like I think I flew like 2 batteries in 3D. And to any of the other pilots, I never did any of the course, and I'm flying 3D. It's completely different. It screws up my stick fingers. Like that's like screwed me up at past events going from 3D to 2D.
Well, he wasn't the only one that got to fly. I mean, a couple of guys got.
Oh yeah, no. Anybody that was there had a chance to fly it, so yeah, I don't feel too bad about that.
It was a great little like. I wish they could have had like another section area where you guys could go and fly, and do your thing. You know what I mean? Like
Well, this is the thing that I keep bringing up is like freestyle. You can do a freestyle event alongside a racing event because you can put freestyle and left hand on like a 5th or 6th channel, run it down at the end, and then have the racing on 4 or 5 channels, and just have a dedicated channel for freestyle.
Right.
And I think going forward, more events should really look into doing that because it allows you to have equal time, quote unquote, for both without having to take away from either.
I think freestyle, I mean, just thinking about it real quick from what you said, freestyle, I think would be best if everyone on freestyle could probably have maybe a Connex system if it could fit it, HD, and then you can have analog and have no multipathing at all.
Right.
No conflicts. That's the first thing
That'd be interesting.
Very true.
Yeah. Plus,
well, I was just thinking. I was just thinking like somewhere like y'all could go, near the event and fly, and not be constricted to the limits of hey, you can't fly the course because you guys nobody flew the course. I watched that. I can vouch for that. Nobody got to fly the course, but it gave you a chance because a couple of guys had broken motors, broken cameras, VTX. They just wanted to make sure that everything was working, so they got a chance to do that. And a couple of people got to fly like back and forth the length of the area, and that was it. But Zoe was doing some 3D, and then she hit one of the trusses, and that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't even like I don't think I broke anything. It was just like I don't want to break anything.
Right.
And it was called the video. I actually need to post that video because it's really cool. But I was able to pull off in that space with just a couple batteries. But
yep,
it definitely took the edge off because going into it, like I had 2 horrible qualifying runs, and I definitely was feeling on edge going into eliminations because I was the only person on my team that I think didn't do like a decent qualifying run. And I knew I was better than that. And then going into elimination, I pulled out a 2nd. And then going into the finals, I pulled out a 1st. So, it definitely helps getting the jitters out, I think, just knowing like, oh, hey, I can fly again. I know how to do this. I'm not a complete idiot. I can do the sticks. I can throw it around. I can fly in this small area, right. Just like reminding myself that things still work and
focus.
Yeah.
So the big question is Team Platinum Misfits staying together?
Yes.
And are they going to be racing again this year?
Yeah, we're together. We're right here, ain't we?
Yep. He is right there.
So is there any other team races that you're hopefully going to be going to, or is it kind of like...
the Incheon or something? I don't know how to pronounce it. I feel so bad. The South Korea race coming up for Dover International is the next one.
Incheon.
I don't want to... I don't even know if... this is a podcast. It's going to be aired after the fact, so I probably can say it, but... as of right now, it's unannounced, and IDRA has not officially announced the race yet, so I don't even know if I'm allowed to talk about it, but...
No.
It's all right. He'll forgive us,
He has to.
Well, I mean, Justin did tell me. I mean...
we did a lot of work for Justin. He'll forgive us.
Hey, I can't say anything, but you can say whatever you want.
Listening to the last email I got from him, I'm assuming that everything has been agreed upon and that the race is officially on as of probably today. So I think I'm okay. I think I'm okay.
Well, if not,
which one are you talking about?
I don't know, some race.
Some race in the Pacific somewhere. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Austin. Let's move on away from Dover. I know you guys. I know you like racing.
Let's talk about your event.
Yeah, you have a history of of RC and racing and stuff like that. And what's going on in your neck of the woods? What do you like to do?
Well, we have a local field down the street. It's actually only 2 miles away. It's been here for 15 years. The city gave us permission to have the land as long as we take care of it. And it's by a citrus park, state citrus park. And it's called the ISS Field, Inland Soaring Society. So they have everything right there. Skip one, just because I didn't fly. I got to post his balls. And so they've been there 15 years. It's all electric. It's electric gliders, tow with a tow winch,
Nice.
airplanes, and then FPV. And right now, what I'm working on with the city is to put a permanent facility, because we were, as far as I know and have seen anywhere in Facebook or anywhere, we held an event there about 1 year and 8 months ago. And it was the first event that I helped hold there. And we had a track out there with white line chalk lines outline the middle of the track, which I honestly love. Throw away the cones. I don't want to see red. I don't want to see orange. I want to see brown cones outlaying in grass. Put lime. It's $11 a bag for a 40-pound bag. Put lime, just like what they use on baseball fields for the chalk lines.
No,
and it works awesome. It works awesome. So that's what's going on locally, and we're trying right now. We're clearing out probably about 2 acres, so we can have an FPV paradise over there. Because what behind here, there's times when there's 30, 40 people here flying at the house.
Wow.
And
that's a lot.
And through the grove, and it gets a little daunting sometimes, because everyone wants to come, and I can't do it every weekend.
Gotcha.
I got a job and everything else, so. That's the biggest thing. Trying to promote that and get that going, and helping out and volunteering. And
yeah, so I think you do a lot of volunteering, trying to get new pilots in, making sure that they have the right stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the biggest thing with the sponsorship. I'm not going out of my box here by saying this, but being sponsored before and seeing and doing a lot of things and going across the country and the world and everything, and then this second phase, it's more of helping out people going wherever I go, wherever Spectrum or Platinum Vapes or anywhere they send me. So if I can help out, I will. I'm not the IT guy. So if you're asking me IT questions about F400 boards and stuff, you might as well forget it. I'll send you down the line to IT department at Spectrum.
Hey, but you know what? It's always good to have somebody that's willing to help you out, put some parts in, making sure that you can get back into the air and flying again, right?
Yeah, and that's what it's about for me. And not only that, but the racing. When I put the goggles on, I think they know. When I put the goggles on, it's a different me. Don't talk to me. Just let me fly. Let me race. When I take the goggles off, I'm back to normal. But in racing, it's competitive. Because racing, what I used to do a lot of, and I loved, was 8-scale on-road for Ron Paris and Noah Rossi and all them guys, Airtronics. And you're talking, 0 to 75, 100 in under 2 seconds?
Yep.
1 hour long A mains, so the longevity of like these races that the IDRA holds, I would like to see 10, 15 laps, and then hit. 3 laps is fine. It's an inaugural event, but in all honesty, I mean, if the batteries can last 15 or 20 laps, let's do it.
Yeah, they should do a la DRL. Go down about 1800 kV, bump up a cell, go up to 5 cell. Get a good 6-minute battery out of it and still go fast.
Well, that was not an option. I mean, that was an option. Sorry about that.
Well, it's still 3 laps though. It was an option to go 5 cell, but you still stuck to 3 laps.
Yeah.
I love 5 cell. 5 cell is so much fun for 3D and stuff. Like,
let's get into it, Zoe. What are you doing? What, like, the edge of freestyle in 5 cell? What's going on there?
So I know Ken Liu, Colby, SFFPV, I know myself, we're all moving to 5 cell and beyond right now. And for 3D, 3D, especially, I've been just playing around with it the last few days. It's so much fun. 3D, especially, I've been just playing around with it the last few days. It's so much fun. 3D, especially, I've been just playing around with it the last few days. It's so much fun. 3D, especially, I've been just playing around with it the last few days. It's so much fun. 3D, especially, I've been just playing around with it the last few days. and it is game changing. I'm able to drop it into my existing 2010 setup with my 0G propellers, and oh my god, it's like going from, it's like next generation. It felt like going from 3-cell to 4-cell. Going from 4-cell to 5-cell makes sense. But I also dropped 65 grams off my quad, and dropping 65 grams and then bumping up to 5-cell, it just
monster machine, power to weight ratio. Hey,
and then and then I hate to say this, I was running 1.1 KISS hardware, which is like a year old, and I just updated that shit to 1.3. And let me tell you, a lot has changed. Oh my god, things are different now. Things are different now. Like, it's a lot crispier. Oh my god, like the quadcopter, even without being tuned, it just looks so much better in the air. So I'm really excited about it. I haven't been this excited about 3D in a while. So
here we go. Need new sponsor for all those 5-cell batteries. That's the only problem.
Hashtag tattoo. No, but seriously, I didn't even know, and this is the thing, when I was getting into it, the 5-cell 1300 R-line batteries didn't exist. Like, a few months ago, they just came out a few months ago, and I didn't even know they
somebody's showing off China hobby, y'all.
Hobby.
I just see one of those catching on fire. I just saw one of those catching on fire.
I'm just starting 5-cell. I only got 4, so
I just saw one of those catching on fire.
I'm going there too. I see the wave and the movement. I'm going.
I saw one catch on fire.
Officially, as of today, I've sold off some of my 4-cell batteries, so I can buy more 5-cell batteries.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm sending mine to Angela down in Mexico so they can reuse them down there, because I'm getting rid of a bunch of 4-cell too.
It's kind of funny.
There you go. I just sent her a message. She just chimed in. She might be coming in, guys.
Yay!
She got stranded in the rain.
Yes.
She's back home.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll dedicate the last part to her if she comes in. But
hopefully she will.
Yeah, definitely. I always thought that the 5-cell trend or the 6-cell trend would have come sooner, but I guess people. Actually, you know what? I mean, there's so many pilots.
I think it's just reliable power systems. I mean, like, when I was trying to move to 6-cell, it was difficult because, like, the propellers that I like to use was just too much for my setup. Like, I was burning motors. And so I could drop down and prop and go up basically in KV by going to 6-cell without burning stuff. But realistically, I just didn't have hardware that fully took advantage of 6-cell, and it's still, I think that's the thing, there's a lot more hardware out there right now that you can easily drop a 5-cell battery into and take advantage of it. Whereas if you try dropping a 6-cell battery into it, you're going to push it just over the edge, you're going to start burning stuff, and you're not going to actually get the full efficiency out of using a 6-cell battery that you would out of a motor that's, properly wound and set up for it. So I gotta say I'm lucky though. The 2010 motor that I've been using works great with 6-cell, works great on 5-cell. It's been out for about a year now, and it's still my favorite motor.
It's a big motor.
So
it's an interesting motor too.
It's a really interesting motor. Like, people check out the reviews on the Mini Quad Test Bench. They're legit. They spin up and spin down faster than most other motors, if not every other motor on the market still. And they have more torque than other motors on the market. And if you want to spin a very aggressive propeller, like the Race Crash 5150 tries, like, they're amazing to do that. So, it's a motor for the right prop. It's a motor for the right cell.
Definitely, yeah, definitely check it out. We're still gonna wait on our last guest, but CWB. I think one of the things that you and I talked about at the very beginning, and it surprised all of us on the podcast, is that San Diego doesn't have a chapter for racing, which is kind of weird because you guys are a really big city, and it's like the weather is there beautiful year round.
Right.
I was talking to the guys last night. We do night races all the time. We have a group called the Pop Monkeys here in San Diego, led by our amazing track builder, Manny. Most people know him as Art Nabbit. And I was talking to them last night and asked, why don't we have a chapter here in San Diego? And the consensus is that, most of us are pilots and it's a ton of work. So we are definitely going to put something in the works, whether we do a North County or San Diego chapter, to see something going here in San Diego, because we have a lot of pilots here. I know we have 67 just in our Prop Monkeys group alone. And like I was saying, I feel like we need the chapter here in San Diego because we have a lot of young pilots. Like the way I felt when I first started a year and a half ago, really intimidated to race some of the bigger pilots that or some of the other guys that you see. Mm-hmm. So I would like to have a place and a chapter here in San Diego where it gives them the opportunity to come in, race, try it out, and not be intimidated by going to Orange County or LA or San Francisco with the big pilots until, they're ready. So, because I feel like everybody needs that opportunity to get into the sport. It's all about, building the bond, camaraderie, and being together as in the sport, because things move so fast, as we all know. Like, one thing's here and it changes tomorrow.
I don't mean to interrupt, but on that aspect, the biggest thing to do as far as a club, whether it's San Diego or whatever, and we proved this 2 weeks ago, as we had a multi-GP event out here. But what we did on the flyer, on the whatever you want to call it, we had amateur/novice newbies from 8 o'clock in the morning to noon, and then at 1 o'clock to whatever, we had the pro pilots, experienced, whatever. But the thing was that we stated on there was, the guys, the pros, the sponsored me, whatever, we're going to be there in the morning and help out. And we did. We helped out all the newbies to get involved in the sport. And then they hung out. We had a barbecue and everything. They hung out and they watched us fly. And then their eyes got big. And then they're that to me brings more camaraderie, more hobbyists into the sport than just having a multi-GP race. Okay, let's fly. And it's like, you have issues, whatever, but bring the amateur people in there and let them and help them out for 4 hours. Oh, man, their eyes go wide open, and you've got them for life, and they love it.
There you go.
Sorry.
Idea.
Sorry, Skip.
All right, yeah. Elvin, you need to move to San Diego, by the way.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It's expensive to live here. Don't put yourself there.
Skip's got a basement.
All over if you know how expensive my bills were a month.
But
yeah, that's with the territory. We're 4.5 million people strong here in San Diego, so I feel like with us losing the football team and all the other stuff going on, we have a lot of opportunity to combine and to involve the children and other people here, because we all know that it's huge for the kids. 11,
true that.
Getting into this, and I mean, they're showing all of us. So, I feel like it's the right thing to do. And plus, at the end of the day, I just, I was in Boy Scouts, I was an Eagle Scout, so I just like being around everybody and just watching their eyes and seeing the enjoyment of building something with their hands and then go out and flying it and getting that accomplished for the first time. It's a fun feeling to do. And and I learned from everybody too, because I had to teach myself most of this shit. If it wasn't for some of the guys in my club and other people that I asked, my friends, I don't know where I would be. So you need that also. And I feel like, the kids are definitely not afraid to ask questions, ask for damn sure. But, older people like myself, and even, I see a lot of older gentlemen that are retired that are interested in getting into this. Kind of get to stumbling blocks or whatever. So I want that chapter down here to have the opportunity and everything to get people involved. So hopefully we can accomplish that. That will be a goal to start this year. I'm going to talk to the guys more and see if we can get that in play, because I feel like it would benefit us down here tremendously. So thank you for bringing that up.
Sure. Now, if somebody listening to the podcast is in the San Diego area and they want to help you out, how can they get a hold of you or your club or somebody who can refer them to you?
Diego Electric Flyers is our main club, which is down beside SeaWorld. And then my email address is super simple. It's cwb.fpv@gmail.com. And then if the other main way that you can get in touch with most of us is through Facebook. So if one person is linked in with us, or they can probably get in touch with us through the podcast, would be another option. But there's definitely ways to get in touch with us, and we would be happy to entertain all interests in anything as far as that goes.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully somebody steps up and really gets that going for San Diego, because it would be great to have, another great community growing over in the West Coast. I'm kind of surprised it hasn't happened already.
Me too.
Yeah. Big city, big city. Zoe, what about you? How can we get in touch with you?
People can find me at zoefpv.com. You can find me basically on Instagram, YouTube, all the social media at ZoeFPV, and you can find me on Facebook, Zoe.Stumbaugh, Stumbaughh, or funny sounding German last name. So yeah, I'm on the internet. Yeah. I'm in places. Oh, Angela's here! Oh my God, yes! Oh my God, yes! Oh my God!
Okay,
so exciting.
Well, Blondie's
She
here.
made it.
Yeah. Hey,
There she is.
fashionably late is the right word.
Sorry, didn't mean
it's not
to
very
cut you off,
No, good timing.
Okay, Angela, before we introduce you and bombard you with questions, Austin, how can we get in touch with you?
In all honesty, it's probably just Facebook, the Kraken. That's probably, that's just dedicated for FPV. Anything after FPV is all with Mercedes, my job, and family. So that's the easiest thing, just Facebook.
Right. So if you want to get in touch with Austin, Facebook it is. Angela, how you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Okay, so what's the story? What caught you up? The rain, the driving?
Yeah. We were flying and we got stranded in the rain. Really bad internet side of the city. So I'm home. I made it. I'm so sorry for being so late.
No, it's fine. Angela.
It was a Mexican with chupacabra.
All right. So, Angela, can you please give a brief introduction to everybody on the podcast?
Okay, so I'm Angela Jax. I'm based in Mexico City. I've been flying drones for about 4 years, I think, and mini quads for about 2. But I didn't really get a chance to fly much until I moved outside the city, which is where I live now. And I'm part of Team B Rotor, and I'm founder of FPV Racing Mexico, the biggest organization in the country behind drone racing. And I'm also working currently as Latin American coordinator for Multi-GP. And that's basically me.
That's a lot of stuff. That's not a basic list.
Yeah, she
a lot
no
of work
joke.
right there.
She putting in the work.
Yeah, that's right. So, Angela, what's the dirt? How did you get involved in these misfits over here?
Zoe sent me like the best message ever, because I not in a million years would have expected it. And she just messaged me saying, "Hey, Angela, I want to go to this IDLA race. And, I'm kind of thinking of an old girl team. And I wanted to invite you." And I'm like, "Wow, yeah, that sounds really good. Who else have you talked to?" And she's like, "No one. You're my first one." It was a 2-girl team for quite some time, like for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or something like that, because we couldn't figure it out and we couldn't get droned off because she was busy with a wedding, and Ma was going to be in Paris, I think.
Yeah.
So we were like,
with the other DCL thing, I
Yeah.
think.
They were all super busy, so we got rejected like the misfits that we are, and finally we were like, we should just go for whoever's out there that's willing to join and that's fun and good at racing, and we got the best two guys we could have gotten.
Definitely. Hey, you know what? And we really appreciate you coming out of your country and joining us over on the East Coast, which is, that's got to be a long travel. That's got to be like, what, 14 hours at least or something like that.
He beat us there.
It involved like 36 hours of not sleeping because it was like a crappy flight that I got with like a layover that, I mean, I now know the Philadelphia airport pretty well.
Oh, that sounds terrible. 36 hours. Ow, that hurts. Ow.
Yeah. I was like, I took a nap there, I played stuff there, and then I bought a postcard there, and I made friends with the guy over there. Like, oh God, it was too much, but it was worth it. I love traveling.
I met her before, and so like I'm getting ready to like walk out of the airport, and I hear this girl go, "Skip," and I'm like, I think my wife is in the bathroom, but somebody else knows me. And it was little A. And she had her backpack with her quad, and I was like, oh, I know who this is.
That's how I do. So I was like, oh, that guy has the backpack with the quad. So I mean, you know, we don't need any signs being like, "Are you Skip? Are you Skip?" Because we were in Hawaii, but I'm really bad at faces sometimes. And but I recognize his walk, which is weird because I couldn't remember his face, but I could remember the way he walked. So yeah, that's good.
That's pretty cool. Well, we're glad you made it, and we're glad that there's at least a team of 2 girls, because that's usually like 1,000% better than the normal, you know, racing going on. So,
No, it's really cool. It's a co-ed team actually won the event. You know, it backs up what I say that faith. Come on, just a little faith, and you know, maybe we can kick some ass if you allow us to kick some ass.
Right.
hey,
Well, you got to get the opportunity. That's all it is, right?
Yeah, so that's why I also like the IDRA. They're open. Like it's an open registration, first come, first serve. Not a hey, I pick you to do this, or you look like a male model. You look like you're good on TV. You know, so.
That is funny.
You know, we're misfits. I don't know if we would have been picked by a group for television, you know. But that being said, I think we are one of the most, like, when we're together, we're one of the most like picturesque groups. You know, we are misfits. We fit that image so well, and it's really funny. It's really funny when we're together.
Right.
I think
on Monday when we were in Philadelphia, right?
Oh my God, that was so much fun.
Yeah.
What happens in Philadelphia stays in Philadelphia.
Now you gotta tell the story now.
Well, it all started off with me driving at 100, taking everybody.
Okay.
Okay, Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah, and then we wound up by this really old ass prison in Philadelphia, which you know, I think we were supposed to go past it. We were trying to find somewhere to eat, and the place that got picked where we were going to eat was some hipster place that I totally fucking wasn't into. So I walked out and found me somewhere else to go up the street. Let everybody have breakfast, and then we went and found the Rocky Steps. Right? We went and found the fountain.
I got
Rocky Steps. And so they were doing construction on the front. So I go into the back. So there was a valet guard back there in the back, and a fountain that was drained. And I was like, "This is perfect." So we pulled in. It's raining. I get out. I'm like, "Yeah, this is gonna be sick. We're gonna fly the shit out of this place." Everybody in the car is like, "What the hell is he doing?" Like, we're not getting out of here.
We rolled up and like, this is like the most sketchy place we could fly.
Yeah, they're like, they're not going to let us fly. I mean, it's a fucking museum. I'm like, oh yeah, or fly. Watches me take all my shit out. And this
well, you started out with the tiny whoop, right? You took out
yeah, just to see. And so we go over So it comes out. So after the tiny whoop goes good, I'm like, I'm breaking out the 5-inch. So so Zoe goes, this is a good idea. So she does a disclaimer on my GoPro saying, I do not approve any of this. I don't condone any of this shit. And so we continue to take off, and it was pretty generic. I wasn't hot dogging or doing any freestyle or anything because it was raining. And so I zoomed up and down the grass. I went up the steps of the museum, flipped around, came back, flew around, did a pack. And then when I landed, and everybody kind of looked around to see if somebody was going to run up to us and stop us, and that didn't happen. So everybody got their shit out of the car and went to flying.
Oh,
Dude, nobody gave a single FUCK that we were there. Like we had carte blanche on the whole area. The workers loved what we were doing. Like they came over and checked out what we were doing. I mean, like it was nice. It was such a cool change from flying on the West Coast, where you have a bunch of uptight yuppies and their little dogs. You know, going over to the East Coast, people don't give a fuck. They're like, as long as you're not stabbing them actively or like running them over with your car, they don't care.
I mean,
they don't drone fly
one of these oak trees, like, and in this this area we were flying in, it's pristine, right? It's got like asphalt paths, and the grass is like manicured, like perfect 1 inch high, and like everything's perfect. He flies into this oak tree. And I mean, it explodes the oak tree. It takes branches down on the cart path, everything. And I run down there, and I'm like, we gotta gather all this shit up, man. It's like when we throw it in the trash and everything, and nobody said anything to us, man. It was just like the workers that were working in the bushes and everything, they didn't care. They just looked at us like, you know what, fucking crazy gringos.
It's Philadelphia, man. It's Philadelphia. That's all I'm gonna say. That's a pretty cool story, though.
And in that same park, there's a kite that was in the tree, and we have video of that. Austin posted that one. So this kite's like hanging there, and I'm like, Austin, you gotta hit the kite, dude. So we all break our phones. Zoe's got the GoPro. We walk over to it. He takes a couple of lined-up circles to get around it, and man, he nails this thing dead center. And gets caught up in it.
Uh-oh.
2 props are hanging out on the side. So we're like, yeah, rock it, get it out. And it's like a chainsaw effect. It goes around, it zips around so fast and comes down and falls down. That was the best Monday ever.
The best Philly Monday ever.
Steaks. And what else? That was a good day. Liberty Bell. Yeah, that was a good day. Good.
That Chinese Lantern Festival on the way out.
Yeah, which I wound up taking third in that video contest for that video submission, actually.
What? I don't remember.
Yeah, so they were so like I haven't posted any of the footage that I've taken from it, but like I'm notorious for sitting on footage. But there was this
in that Chinese garden place.
Yeah, there's this amazing Chinese lantern garden, and like Angela and I, as we're like going to the airport. We're both sitting in the back seat, and our heads just turned to the right, like snapped. And, like we both look at each other, like, did you just see that? Like, did that just look like the most magical place to fly tiny moves ever? And I was like,
please turn around, please go over there.
You've got to turn around. It's the best thing ever.
And I've seen it too. And I did want to check it out because it looked pretty cool. And I was driving, so I just got a glimpse of it. So we went around the whole block, and mind you, the Liberty Bell is literally on the left-hand corner. We're going around it to go back to look at this Chinese lantern place. And when we get back over there, I see people double parked on both sides of the road. So I'm like, screw it, I'm doing it, like New York style. Or like in the front, at the light, on next, total not. You're not supposed to park there.
Dude, the funny thing is, there was a parking guy that was like 100 feet away at one point. He didn't give a fuck either. He was just like, just do it. He was like seriously, people in Philadelphia don't give a shit.
Yeah,
like they give no fucks. I love it.
Yeah, it was, and that was. I was really glad that she did that. That was a really spontaneous thing that I'm glad we did. Otherwise, we would have missed it, and it was super chill.
But I remember like, we don't have time to stop, and you were like, yeah, maybe we don't have time to stop. And I was like, we gotta stop, and I think I'm the only one that didn't even have a tiny roof. Like I haven't had, but I was like, dudes, you gotta do it. You gotta stop. It's this stuff. You gotta do it. And then I was recording you guys flying and having fun.
She was the instigator.
She was gonna be the one that gets to go home now. Everybody barely out. That's what it was.
It's just like seeing people have fun. So yeah.
Yeah, she was a little panicky at the house. Austin was flying the torrent around inside of our Airbnb, and Angela was behind the couch screaming bloody murder the whole time.
Angela never had a problem when I flew, though.
I wasn't like a little bit panicky. I was completely terrified. Everything to me, I would feel it in my spine. Like, it was horrible. I was like, stop, Austin, stop. And Austin was just like laughing and saying, Angela, this is not even gonna make you bleed or anything. And then 2 minutes later, he crashed into his leg and he got like blood all over.
Austin came on just long enough to hear that story.
Yeah.
He scared me.
It sounds like you guys had more fun outside of the Dover race than really inside the Dover race. Little
well,
adventures.
Yeah, we did we ever mention that we wound up? I took everybody to the NASCAR race afterwards. After we won, we went inside and went to the NASCAR race. Not Emirates. They only go around in left circles, you know.
Right.
I gotta say, NASCAR is absolutely kind of boring. Like, you compare NASCAR to FPV racing, I'm like, you know what? FPV racing is pretty cool. You know, like NASCAR, they were going like 180 miles an hour, I think, when we were watching, and like I pulled 130 on a motorcycle. Watching a car go 180 from several hundred feet away feels like nothing.
It's the noise.
You say go around, like, it's so loud, and then like I have tinnitus, so I suffer from always having ringing in my ears. So I go to this event, and it's just like, oh my god, this is so bad.
Yeah, that's
Where's my bulletproof goggles? That's what you need.
It's cool. It gives me hope. It gave me a lot of ideas on how we could improve.
Did we lose Zoe? Because I can't hear Zoe.
I think we did.
No.
I think she'll be back.
No, your computer died.
Hiccup.
Uh-oh.
That's why I said that, because mine died earlier.
Okay, so while Zoe comes back, Angela, how'd you enjoy the
like you were saying,
how did I enjoy
like you were saying,
racing? Our racing or NASCAR racing?
the Dover racing, because you weren't here for that discussion.
Oh, I had so much fun. It was ridiculous. I remember there was a point where I was next to Zoe, like she was being my spotter, and I was flying, and I had music on, and whenever we did the pit stop thing, I would, like start dancing and whatever, and I felt like so confident with her quads, like, because I was flying her quads, and then I remember just telling her, like, dude, I'm having so much fun, like, this is so much fun. I mean, mid-race, I'm just saying, like, this is so much fun, I love this. There was not a single, well, no, there was one moment of stress. Right? Like, on my last opportunity to fly, I crashed with
somebody's going.
Hawks FPV, was it? Yeah, it was Hawks FPV, and we crashed, and I was so bummed out because I didn't get to fly. So, I don't know. I had a lot of fun. I always have fun racing. I love doing it.
That's pretty awesome. So what's going on in your neck of the woods? Like, what are you doing in Mexico now?
Oh my God, so many things. We decided to, for 2 years, we've been organizing races that are independent and they're not connected, or they're not part of the series. And this year we decided to actually have continuity and get people to gain points and actually have a leaderboard that says something. Because, I mean, a race here and a race there, and some pilots going here and some pilots going there, it doesn't really tell you who's where on the leaderboard. But we decided to divide the country in regions, and we are having 5 circuits, which is like 5 tracks during the entire year, and we're running them in each of the 4 regions. So everyone gets to race in their own region, the same track. And it's not like you get a first, second, and third place per race. What you get is like a leaderboard per circuit, per track. So then after the 5 tracks, we're going to have like the best pilots pulled out. And those pilots are going to go to the Tequila Cup, which is going to be by the end of the year. And aside from that, we have a couple of big races planned. We have one in a weekend and a half or something like that, or less than that. It's going to be big. It's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be a Rubik's Cube race, Rubik's track that we're doing with LEDs and stuff like that. And I'll share the link for the live stream that we're going to have. And also, we're going to have a national qualifier for the Latin American Championship, which is the first Latin American Championship that's been done. And it's sanctioned by Multi-GP. And right now, I think we have 12 countries: Panama, Venezuela, Puerto Rico, Colombia. It's pretty amazing. Brazil, Mexico, and then we're going to go to the Latino Cup, which is going to be like the big cup. And that's basically what we're doing right now. So
That's a lot.
it's been hectic. It's
a lot, man. That's a lot.
Yeah. Hey, Elvin.
Yeah, I mean,
need to make a trip to South America and announce some of these races.
Yeah, I'll do it.
I know Angela likes to party. Let's go. It's gonna be fun. She knows what she's doing, man. She can hang with the Misfits, so we're in good hands.
And her husband Jimmy allows it, so it's a good thing.
That's awesome.
Tell Jimmy, hey, Angela.
Hey, Jimmy, what's up, Jimmy? We coming to visit, homie. We coming. We coming to visit, homie.
2018. We're gonna like enjoy one of the races down there because it sounds like there's a lot of cool stuff going on.
Yeah, I definitely. Hey, Jimmy, take us all over the place. Keep us safe though.
Keep us safe.
Well, I likes to get in trouble everywhere he goes.
Oh, okay. Now you're gonna start. Okay. Now
Hey, come on, guys. A little trouble and danger is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
So, hey, you know
Who
what?
brings? Good.
Mexico is a great place, great vacation place. So we'll definitely have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to go.
that feeling Zoe had in Philadelphia, that she was able to fly anywhere. That's how you feel in Mexico. But the difference is that sometimes people are just too enthusiastic about drones. So like today we were flying and then there were this like, what were they? Like 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds just walking towards the drones. And the parents were like, we don't care. We're going to be here dancing and drinking. We don't care. And the kids were like super tiny and trying to reach out for the drones. I mean, it was scary. From that, no one tells you anything. So it's pretty cool.
Nice. Hey, sounds great. Yeah. Lots of cool stuff. So is the Misfits eventually going to be racing down in your neck of the woods? Is there any plans for that?
I hope so. I hope so. No plans yet, but I do hope so. It'll be pretty cool.
That'd be pretty cool. Okay, so if somebody's listening, because like we do have a lot of international listeners, how do they get a hold of you or all of the planning that you're doing for all of the racing stuff that you're doing?
You can find me on social media as Little A FPV, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and FP Racing Mexico is the organization I'm behind. And you can also find us on Facebook as FP Racing Mexico, or FP Racing MX on Instagram, and also on YouTube. And our website is fpracing.mx, which is so outdated, but still.
Web designer needed. That's what she just said on this podcast.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So help.
We doing the team. That's the thing. Like, there's so much stuff to do.
It is very true.
There's
always stuff to do. I don't think I want to run that whole international thing. That's too much to take care of. But it's really cool that you're taking on that task, or your team.
Hey, but aren't you doing the international like Challengers Cup or something with the IDRA?
Ideally, is trying to find someone to do it in Mexico, but our calendar is full.
No, I was talking to Wyatt and Alvin. Aren't they doing at their race coming up? Is it next month?
Yeah, July.
the month
Challengers
after.
Cup at the Kentucky Speedway, and we're
That's an IDRA event, right?
the IDRA event.
Yeah, that is.
So that's an international event. Wink, wink.
Right. I might make my way that way.
That would be
But it's individual pilots, right? For that one, it's not a team race.
It's not
right?
a team race. It's an individual race.
And are you still doing freestyle at all?
We will have an area for freestyle, but there's nothing like super formal about it.
Right.
It's going to be an area, a huge area, in which you can fly wherever you want. I just never got a chance to actually formalize that whole thing. It's just been such a busy year.
Oh yeah, I know how that goes. I definitely am planning on showing up and throwing down.
Let's go and let's do a wing race.
What dates are Kentucky?
July 29th.
Hey, if I bring my X-Class quad with me, are you all going to keep me from flying it, or you'll let me do a demo?
In the freestyle area, you can fly there.
Okay.
In the track area, not so much.
But I could totally fit my freestyle or my X-Class quad through most multi-GP gates.
I'm sure you could, but I'm not sure if we're going to try that.
You don't want me to destroy your stuff. I get it. I understand. It's okay.
Right. Some things is not no joke.
But
What'd you say, Chip?
Good luck with all those guys in Kentucky.
Yeah, it'll be fun. For us, we like this one is more of a regional race. We want to get a chance for like the East Coast to actually get a few spots in the Challengers Cup because everybody's a solo racer around here. You know how that goes.
Right. No big teams over there.
Yeah.
But Zoe, if you're interested in coming, we're more than welcome to, have you come down and have a little fun. That's for sure.
Yeah, you're the only event I have planned in July that has me going out of California. So,
wow,
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, cool, man. I
have a lot of events planned for July, though.
July 29th.
All right, we need to start wrapping this up because it's been 2.5 hours. This is
2.5 hours. Woo.
It's been a long podcast. Does anybody else
I'm
have
gonna
anything to
get
say? Austin?
Dub?
Yeah, I think Austin's ready to take a nap. He's
Austin,
himself.
everything is.
Yeah, I just gonna build it
4:30 in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Thanks. All
All
right.
right, old man.
All right, old man.
Oh yeah, yeah. I just got caught in.
Oh, yeah, Graybush. I totally forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. Team Platinum Misfits. Always fun to talk to you. All over the place. Most of you are on the West Coast and one down in Mexico.
West Coast rocks.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for everything.
All right. Have fun.
Thank you, everybody.
There's the yellow cap, the famous
Yeah.
Yeah, why didn't you wear that throughout the whole podcast? That would have been great.
it's been here.
All right.
It's been here.
Tell your wife we said hello.
Okay.
And Angela, make sure you tell her husband we're coming down. We don't, I'm married and why likes
Don't even start. I'm stopping.
That's what.